Hello crypto world, welcome to the Chart Historian. My name is Justin, and on this channel I delve deep into crypto charts, exploring chart structures, fractals, and patterns. So today I have the XRP chart open, and I'd like to give a quick little update on how I see things playing out and where I think things could potentially be going. So to start off with, this is on a 2-hour candle, and as you can see, price has been, it's just not moving. Now, there's still a potential for it to move up higher. However, the longer this goes on, the window is closing. So there still is that potential for it to move up. I would like to discuss the possibility that if it's not moving up, if this is indeed the peak that is taking place here. So traditionally or historically, XRP in this phase after the capitulation has moved up to at least, in this case, in today's chart, it would be around 60 cents, maybe mid 60s. That's on the low end. So if this is the peak, this would be the lowest it's ever moved up after a capitulation fractal that takes place at the end of a bear market. Now, that's perfectly possible for it to only move up this high. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the possibility that this is the peak, and if it is the peak, what would we potentially be looking at? So let me zoom out, and I want to show you a potential fractal that this could be following. Okay, so here we are on a day candle, and I'd like to bring your attention to this bull run over here. This was back in 2017. It's from this time that we get the capitulation fractal that we have today. So this capitulation fractal is quite unique. It took place at the end of this decline here, and this fractal is a repeat of this capitulation fractal. Now, what comes after this is a sideways range-bound time that I've spoken about a lot. So I think that this time in 2017 could potentially be repeated over here. And the cool thing is if indeed, now it's speculation, if indeed this is what is taking place, it's a very short time before it moves into the next bull run. So this range-bound time here is what comes after a decline and before a bull run. So here is a decline, and then this was that time, that range-bound time that took place. It took place after the decline and before the next bull run. So there are many different versions of this time. Some are really stretched out, as we see here. Others are very compact and short. So potentially, if this is playing out here, maybe for what we see in history, it is a shorter version of this range-bound time. Let me grab a fractal from here and paste it onto here, and you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we are on a 2-hour candle chart, and as you can see, it has been following the rough outline of this chart so far. Now, like I said previously, there's still a chance that it can move up. There is historical precedent for it consolidating and then continuing to move higher. However, as time continues to march on, that window begins to close. So I would say if we see something like this take place, then I'd venture to say that window is probably closed. I can't say it for 100% for sure. It could always turn around and go up. But at this point, I would begin to seriously question it. So, but if it does follow this, and as you can see, it's been following it, not exact, no fractal ever repeats exact, but it is a decent match of what has been taking place so far. So if this continues to play out, we might see something like this. Now let me zoom out a little and show you how this could potentially play out if this is what indeed is taking place today. Okay, so I'm back on a day candle, and this is zoomed out. Now, there's a lot of ifs here. So if it continues to follow this, and if it continues to stick to this timing, it would potentially be over in March 2023-ish, which, like I said, there's a lot of ifs in that. It could at any point drag out, so it could take longer for this part of the fractal, for instance, to play out, or this part of the fractal to play out. Same could be said, it could also be shorter. Timing is a challenging thing to predict, but it could potentially be a way that this plays out. We'll have to see. Now, there's another potential fractal being played out as well, and I'll show it to you. Okay, so I grabbed this peak and pasted it onto here. It could very well be this peak as well. And my point here is that a lot of times when this plays out, this peak right here, it can mimic one of these kind of previous peaks in the decline. Let's zoom in and take a closer look at this. So here we are on a 2-hour candle, and as you can see, there is some similarity in what is taking place now to what this fractal presents. However, there are some key differences. So for instance, here it drops down, whereas here it has this little small peak at the trough right here. Here, in today's chart, it dropped down quite drastically, whereas here it didn't. It had another little peak or bump right there. So there are some differences. I would say that the fractal from 2017 is a closer match so far, but I think you should be aware of this fractal too. Now, if this played out, this one would take probably longer to play out, and I don't know how low it would go. It could stop around here, it could be less. That is yet to be seen. It's important to note that this would only be a part of the greater range-bound time. This fractal represents potentially 1/3 of that greater range-bound time. So if this played out, it would be a much longer time than the other 2017 fractal that I was showing you. So that's how I see things shaping up right now. We'll have to see how things continue to develop, and as they do, I will continue to develop my thought process on what is taking place. If you enjoy this type of analysis where I deep dive into fractals and examine the chart structure, you should hit that subscribe button if you already haven't. That way you'll be notified of when I put out new videos. If you found this video helpful, it'd be much appreciated if you hit that thumbs up button. And it's important to note that I am not a financial advisor, so none of this information that I present here should be used as financial or investment advice. That would be a mistake. I'm so glad you caught this video. I hope you catch my next one. Have a great day, and bye for now.